You run after success, love, validation, comfort, yet peace slips through your fingers like smoke. You say God is first with your lips, but your lives often whisper otherwise. What if the emptiness you feel isn't because God abandoned you, but because you've been seeking everything else before Him? This isn't a message about religion. It's a wake-up call about order. Because until God is first, everything else will always be out of place. So today, we're stripping away the noise and going back to the foundation. Let's talk about what it truly means to seek God first, not just with words, but with your priorities, your time, your heart, and your lives.
It never starts as rebellion. It starts as distraction. A small compromise here, a little neglect there. And before you know it, the fire that once consumed you is now a flicker, barely holding on. You used to rise early just to sit with Him. Now you rise early just to check emails. You used to run to His word like a hungry soul searching for bread. Now you run to your phone searching for likes. You tell yourself, I'll pray later. I'll read when I'm not tired. God understands, I'm just busy. And He does understand, but He also sees how you make time for everything else. You made time for that series you binge watched. You made time for that gym session. You made time for that person who barely texts you back. And yet the King of Heaven, the one who gives you breath, waits quietly for your attention. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." But this isn't just a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of priority. We destroy ourselves when we seek second things first. We sabotage our peace when we give God what's left instead of what's best. We seek money and lose contentment. We seek relationships and end up heartbroken. We seek success and still feel empty. We chase everything this world told us was essential, and yet we're starving for what's eternal. Jeremiah 2:13 says, "For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed out cisterns for themselves, broken cisterns that can hold no water." Read that again. Broken cisterns that can hold no water. That's what happens when we seek everything but God. We spend our lives drinking from leaking vessels, jobs, people, habits that promise refreshment but deliver dehydration. And deep down, you know it. Because after the high fades, after the attention is gone, after the paycheck hits, there's still a whisper in your soul that says, this isn't enough. The truth is, it was never meant to be. You were not created to be fulfilled by followers, money, or approval. You were created for fellowship, to walk hand in hand with the one who formed you. The enemy doesn't have to get you to worship idols with the golden statue. He just needs to keep you busy enough to forget the one who deserves your worship. And that's the most dangerous kind of idolatry, the kind that hides in plain sight. So I'll ask you again, not to shame you, but to shake you. What's the first thing you reach for when you wake up? Your phone or your Father? What throne have you built in your heart that He's no longer sitting on? Where have you replaced the source with a cheap substitute? Maybe it's time to tear down those altars. Maybe it's time to come back, not halfway, not occasionally, but fully. Because God is not interested in competing with what's killing your soul. He wants to be the well you drink from, the first name you speak, the desire that defines every decision.
Order. It's not just a suggestion, it's a spiritual law. And the reason many of us are overwhelmed, confused, anxious, and directionless is because we've broken the order. We put goals before God. We chase provision before presence. We seek answers before intimacy. And then we wonder why everything feels upside down. But the kingdom of God doesn't operate like the world. The world says, secure the job, then you'll feel safe. God says, seek me first, and I'll supply every need. The world says, make a plan, then invite God to bless it. God says, seek my will, and I'll give you the plan. Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Do you hear that? All these things. The peace you're chasing, the clarity you're desperate for, the provision you're praying for. It's not hidden from you, it's hidden in him. And yet so many of us try to reverse engineer the kingdom. We chase the things and wonder why we can't find the king. We prioritize the blessing and miss the blesser. Listen to me. God doesn't want to be part of your list. He wants to be the foundation your list is built on. If God isn't first, everything else is out of order. If God isn't the center, everything else becomes chaos. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. All your ways, not just Sunday mornings, not just when life is falling apart, not just when you feel spiritual, all your ways. That means in your finances, seek him first. In your decisions, seek him first. In your relationships, seek him first. In your dreams, seek him first. Because the truth is this: God cannot guide what you do not surrender. He cannot bless what you refuse to give him. And he will not compete with the idols you insist on prioritizing above him. So let's get real. Where in your life have you been relying on your own understanding instead of God's wisdom? What decisions have you made without even asking for his direction? What areas have you placed on the throne where only he belongs? When you put him first, he doesn't just rearrange your life. He rebuilds it. He straightens what was crooked. He brings order to chaos. He opens doors no man can shut. When God is first, everything else falls into place. But when he's not, nothing will ever truly satisfy.
Let's be honest, the chase is exhausting. We don't even realize how thirsty we are until the noise fades and the silence hits. We're thirsty for validation, for love, for purpose, for peace. And the world keeps handing us cups, shiny, expensive, impressive cups, but every single one is empty. So we drink and drink and drink, but we're never full. We scroll and scroll, but we're never satisfied. We climb and grind and chase and build, but something inside us still whispers, there has to be more. Because there is more. There's a story in John 4. Maybe you've heard it. A Samaritan woman goes to a well in the heat of the day, ashamed, broken, searching for something that will finally fill her. She's had 5 husbands. The one she's with now isn't her husband. She's been chasing satisfaction her whole life, and it's always slipped through her fingers. And then she meets Jesus, and he doesn't condemn her. He confronts her thirst. Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. John 4:13-14. Never thirsty again, not because life suddenly becomes easy, not because you get everything you want, but because you finally have the one thing your soul was always craving. This is the difference between the world's water and God's water. The world gives you temporary highs. God gives you eternal peace. The world gives you fleeting attention. God gives you steadfast love. The world gives you achievements. God gives you identity. And yet, we keep running back to the same dry wells, hoping this time they'll satisfy. But they never do. They can't. Because they weren't meant to. The job was meant to provide, not fulfill. The relationship was meant to support, not save. The dream was meant to direct, not define. Only God satisfies. Only God fills the empty spaces you've been trying to patch with people, possessions, and plans. Isaiah 55, 1-2. Come, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and he who has no money, come buy and eat. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which does not satisfy? Why, indeed? Why pour your energy into things that can't heal the ache? Why chase approval from people who don't even know your heart? Why run after dreams that crumble the moment you touch them? Beloved, it's time to stop drinking from empty wells. It's time to lift your eyes from what's around you to who is above you. It's time to seek the source, not the substitutes. Ask yourself this. What well have you been returning to knowing it never satisfies? What have you been asking to fill a void only God can fill? Are you ready to let go of the chase and finally drink deeply of His presence? The world will always offer another cup, but only Jesus offers the well that never runs dry. Here's the part we often miss. God doesn't tell us to seek Him first because He needs our attention. He tells us to seek Him first because we need His presence. He commands it not to control us, but to bless us. When you finally reorder your life around Him, something supernatural happens. Peace enters places anxiety once rolled. Clarity breaks through where confusion used to scream. Doors open that no resume could unlock. And suddenly, the things you were chasing start chasing you. It's not magic, it's kingdom order. It's the promise wrapped inside Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. All these things. Not some, not a few, all. The provision you prayed for, added. The strength you lacked, added. The wisdom you were desperate for, added. The purpose you were trying to figure out, added. Not because you earned it, not because you hustled hard enough, but because when you prioritize the King, the kingdom flows into your life. Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Notice what it says. Delight yourself in the Lord, not in success, not in people, not in the future, in Him. And when you do, something powerful happens. Your desires begin to align with His. You stop craving what's temporary and start longing for what's eternal. You stop begging God for things that will break you and start receiving things that will build you. Seeking God first doesn't mean you'll never face storms, but it does mean you'll never face them alone. It doesn't mean life becomes easy, but it means life becomes anchored. Because when God is first, you stop living in reaction and start walking in revelation. You stop operating out of fear and start moving with faith. You stop chasing control and start living in peace. And here's the beauty. God's rewards are not always material. Sometimes they're far deeper. A healed mind, a softened heart, a restored identity, a peace that makes no sense to the world. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you truly believed God's promise to add all things? What decisions would you stop stressing over if you knew the King was already handling them? How different would your days feel if you woke up seeking His face before seeking your plans? Beloved, this is the life you were created for. Not a life of striving, but a life of seeking. Not a life of grasping, but a life of trusting. Not a life of emptiness, but a life overflowing with the goodness of a Father who knows what you need before you even ask. Let me make this plain. Seeking God first isn't a one-time emotional moment. It's a daily decision. It's not a switch you flip. It's a rhythm you build. It's not about doing more. It's about desiring Him above all. And here's the truth. Seeking God doesn't always look dramatic. Most days, it looks ordinary. It's in the small choices that no one sees. It's in the unseen obedience that shapes your heart. It's in the consistent pursuit that transforms your life. Start your day with God before the world, before the notifications, before the news, before the noise. Give Him your first breath. Open your eyes and whisper, "Lord, I'm here." Open His word before you open your phone. Seek His face before you seek your schedule, because the first thing you reach for reveals the true posture of your heart. Psalm 5, verse 3, ESV. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch. Talk to Him, not just at Him. Prayer isn't a monologue. It's a conversation. It's not about fancy words. It's about honest words. Tell Him your fears. Tell Him your frustrations. Tell Him your dreams. Then sit in silence and let Him speak back. Jeremiah 29, verse 13, ESV. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Choose obedience over convenience. Seeking God first isn't just about feeling close to Him. It's about following Him. That means saying no when your flesh says yes. It means walking away from things that pull you away from His presence. It means trusting His timing when your impatience screams to rush. Obedience is one of the purest forms of seeking, because when you obey, you declare, I trust your way more than mine. Invite Him into every detail. God isn't just interested in your Sunday service. He's interested in your Monday meeting, your Tuesday errands, your Wednesday decisions. When you include Him in the small, you train your heart to trust Him with the big. Before you text, before you post, before you commit, ask, Lord, is this pleasing to you? Surround yourself with what fuels your pursuit. You can't seek God consistently while staying surrounded by what pulls you from Him. Feed your soul, not just your senses. Worship more than you worry. Read more word than you scroll. Stay in community that pushes you toward Him, not away from Him. And understand this. Seeking God isn't about earning His love. You already have it. It's about aligning your life with that love every single day.
The truth is simple and sobering. You will seek something first. The question is, what will it be? Will it be the world that changes with the wind, or the God who never changes?